Now that we know what it took for student pilots to get to Phase 3 and a little bit about their jet, the T-38 Talon, it's time to get started. But before we do, we'll begin by welcoming in a new set of wingmates to Class 2603. 4 student pilots from Spain have arrived at Sheppard Air Force Base in Wichita Falls.
We are brand new in the class and we're getting to meet all of our new classmates and everyone, which is super cool. We're super excited for that.
And with Spain being a NATO member, the students know this may not be the last they see of their fellow pilots.
I think the best thing about ENJJPT is the fact that we're going to be meeting a whole bunch of people from the whole NATO community, and so making these lifelong relationships and maybe see them in the future in exercises, even real-life combat operations. I think that's like the end goal.
Now manned with wingmates from Spain, the ENJJPT class of 2603 is ready to start Phase 3. ENJJPT wants their fighter pilots to be in the best shape and prepared to fly, and that begins at the centrifuge. Student pilots traveled to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio to get some of the most intense training on the planet. The centrifuge simulates gravitational forces, or G's, on the pilots. This training prepares them for the stronger stresses their bodies will feel when flying the T-38, pulling north of 7 G's.
Pull that air back in, relax the face, breathe, knees in, butt tight.
You're going from 1 G, just in a slight circle, all the way up to 7.5 G's very quickly, in less than like a little over a second. Everybody's faces are all drooped down, and then when you get there, it's real. You see the chamber, you see the live feed of your buddies in front of you going. I was number 5, so I got to see a few guys go first. The guys that went before me, they rocked it, so I was like, I gotta perform.
And while the test doesn't take hours to perform, it may feel like it.
So there's 4 or 5 different profiles you'll get ran through while you're in there. And the most intense one, the 7.5, is 15 seconds. That 15 seconds though, 7.5 G's is the peak. It's the hardest part.
When done with the centrifuge, students come back to Sheppard and head back to a familiar place. All pilots have to go back through another round of egress training, this time specifically for the T-38. This includes how to fall with parachutes, eject, and more.
Today is about a review of everything they learned in that first week. With the plus of now they're learning a little bit more about the T-38 aircraft, so they're strapping into the seats with a different harness. They got a few more bells and whistles, different types of fittings on that harness versus that T-6 aircraft.
Beyond the cockpit, the wear and tear that training and flying takes on the human body is measurable. That's why CRAFT was developed by the U.S. Air Force and adopted by ENJJPT. CRAFT is short for Comprehensive Readiness for Aircrew Flying Training.
CRAFT was established when we noticed that there was a lack in overall physical preparedness for our student pilots. And that specifically comes down to 2 domains, the cognitive and the physical. We focus on 2 aspects here. One is strength and conditioning, and that is making sure that these pilots are sound physically to go with it. So we established the cognitive domain in order to assist the pilot early on in their training to help them really hone in that multitasking capability that they're going to be asked to do when flying a fighter jet.
Physically, it's important to be prepared for the toll that G's take on the body.
Going into T-38 is not only is the airframe faster and capable of higher G's, they will also be double turning, meaning they're doing 2 flights a day way more frequently. So it is very important. One, we want to build them up holistically for sure. We want to make them into a super version of themselves. So every muscle is getting some attention.
And it's just as important to be sound in the mind as it is to be of sound body.
Part of it is sit-down conversations, 15 minutes to an hour, talking about challenges, talking about successes too, because we want to make sure we're doing those things well, just as much as we need to improve the things we're bad at. But then we'll put them on our synaptic, which just goes over like hand-eye coordination, reaction time, memory, attention shifting, things like that.
Now armed with all of the knowledge, training, and support they need, Class 2603 is ready for the next step. Coming up, student pilots get to hit the flight lines and pet the jet and begin taking their dollar rides in the sleek T-38 Talon. That's next time on Wings of Alliance.